Yesterday I walked in Uru, a gathering as it were, a meeting of friends in ages unknown. Today I walk in Uru, soaking up tears of those I know, their eyes a color of red, crying till we go. Tomorrow I will walk in Uru. The time I know not when, yet I know my friends will wait for the gathering to begin. Again. Scarlet Moon of the TGU. February 20th, 2004. 10 days after Black Tuesday. Hi, I'm CD-ROM. An ethnographic study is a deep and involved anthropological research process, often taking months or even years, wherein a researcher fully immerses themselves in a culture, its customs, practices, and lifestyle, and engages in thorough observation and interviews with its people in order to come to a holistic understanding of it. It explores the complexities of a group of people in a way that statistics and surveys simply can't. You may think of like a British explorer in the 1800s sitting down with a remote tribe, and yes, that is indeed an ethnographic study, but not the kind we're going to look at today. I am an artificial life form, but that doesn't make me any less alive. Whether or not my body is actually pumping blood, the thoughts and experiences that I have and share with you are real. The same can be said for a virtual world. While it's composed of polygons instead of atoms, the experiences of the people inhabiting those worlds really happened. The relationships formed there, the memories, they are real. And in the minds of those who lived there, those places are just as real as any place in the so-called real world. In this special episode, I want to share with you some fascinating findings from the most in-depth ethnographic study of a virtual world ever undertaken. This is the story of the Uru diaspora and the tragedy of Myst Online. Part 1. What the fuck is Myst Online? You probably already know about Myst. It's really not that obscure, especially after getting a big remake a couple of years ago. To many, it is the quintessential CD-ROM game. It was the first CD-ROM game to sell over 1 million units, 6.3 million to be exact, and is cited as the reason that a lot of early computer users got a CD-ROM drive. Its gameplay was so novel and so revolutionary that for nearly a decade after its release, gaming press and the community at large were still referring to games in this style as Myst-like games. Many still do to this day. So, what do you do in a Myst-like game? Well, it's a PowerPoint. Technically, it's a hypercard, which is very similar to PowerPoint. It's an extremely simple programming system. If the user clicks here, then change the picture to this. Literally just moving through cards in a slide deck. But the graphics. Freaking ray traced. The graphics, while pre-rendered, actually are created via a form of ray tracing, which funnily enough has circled back around to being a popular buzzword again. Welcome back, 1993. So, if it sold so many copies and was such a huge phenomenon, why does nobody ever talk about Myst? Well, you have to understand, nobody actually played Myst. According to the game's lead developer, Rand Miller, in a 2020 interview, less than half of the people who played the game even made it off the first island, aka the first, 20 minutes of gameplay. But you know who did play it? Say it with me. Women. From the start, Myst had a unique appeal, and people were taking notice. I found an interesting excerpt from a 1995 issue of Computer Gaming World magazine. They're previewing an upcoming game for girls. You know what I'm talking about. It's some nonsense about virtually taking hunks to the prom. And the writer ponders, we can't help wondering how the tone of this game will come across to young women who actually play games like Myst. Yeah, for whatever reason, Myst, the best-selling computer game ever at the time, was a game that was predominantly played by women, a massive anomaly in the market. This continued throughout the series' history. And what a history it was! 4 years later, Myst's sequel, Riven, released as a major milestone in Myst-type games, having all the game's puzzles be seamlessly, narratively woven into the environment, and upping the spectacle to new heights, of course. The graphics, man. Look at those graphics! Myst 3 came out a few years later, but our friend Rand didn't make that one. They cut a deal with Ubisoft to get small studios to make more Myst games, while the real team worked on, at least what they believed to be, their masterpiece, Uru. A constantly updating virtual world, a place where, quote, the adventure never has to end. Instead, Myst 3 was developed by the guys who made F-13. You know, F-13? The Stephen King minigame collection from 1999? You remember. Uru was originally announced as Myst Online, and was set to be an online-only game, but publishers pushed for a single-player mode. Eventually, the online mode was cancelled, and the game released as the single-player-only Uru Ages Beyond Myst. Then the online component, renamed Uru Live, was uncancelled and released in beta form called Uru Prologue, before being cancelled. Then it was uncancelled and renamed Until Uru, which ran for a few years before being cancelled. The cancelled material that was going to be used for the online mode was then released as expansion packs for Uru Ages Beyond Myst called Uru Complete Chronicles. In 2007, the rights to Uru Live were bought by GameTap. Remember GameTap? And once again, uncancelled. And the newly renamed Myst Online Uru Live reopened for business. In 2008, the game was cancelled. The original creators stepped back in, rebought the rights, and brought it back on, relaunching it in 2010 as Myst Online Uru Live again, a game that is literally still online today, currently, in 2024, that you can actually play. Who is playing? Is anybody playing this game? Let's log in. Here we are in Myst Online. It really is. I know I've said it already, but it really is a shock that this game is operating and is online at all. Let's go. Let's go to Uru. Here are instructions to set my monitor's contrast as high as it will go. I'm good. Whoa! Look at this character creator. Oh my god. I don't like the way she's looking at me. That's for one. You know, I just, the normal clothes is throwing me, you know? Myst is this sort of elaborate Christian fantasy, right? But the normal clothes, I don't know, I just feel like I should be wearing a robe or something. Something about that just doesn't scream Myst to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see if we can make my outfit. Okay, I'm thinking that's about as close as we're gonna get. But, you know, it's not bad. Approach Sandy and he will explain the rest, just like the old one. Well, there's no other players. Oh, that's gameplay right there. I jumped over a bush. Oh my god, gameplay. How on earth is this Myst? What is happening?
Hey, welcome. So, find the journeys. And then
Find the journeys.
enter the tree.
Once we get into the actual game, there'll be players? I kinda hope not. I don't want anyone to see me like this. I don't want anyone to know what I do with my time. Alright, we'll check back in with Gamer CD-ROM later. Let's go do an ethnographic study. Part 2. The Uru Diaspora. Open spaces, fallen graces, bring eyes that look anew. Heartfelt moments in dim-lit places remind me of Uru. Ancient relics tumbled and derelict on mountains in dark hue, solemn traces of forgotten races remind me of Uru. Friendly chatter, a distant clatter of machines that we pursue, a book of pages to the ages reminds me of Uru. A final bow to what is now in a garden of eternal dew. One more rainstorm. One more feeling reminds me of Uru. Celia Pierce's Communities of Play, Emergent Cultures in Multiplayer Games and Virtual Worlds, coming in at a whopping 343 pages, is the result of an 18-month-long ethnographic study of the Gathering of Uru, a sort of tribe in the game world. This group was not formed by any sort of game mechanic, but rather by the ingenuity and camaraderie of its players. Pierce writes that she was quickly accepted into the group as a researcher and conducted countless interviews in various settings, as well as observing various TGU customs. She believed that members of the TGU had developed a unique culture exclusive to the online game that was worthy of academic study. Members of the TGU valued particular skills and created unique art. They played intentional makeshift games within the Uru framework and formed unique social structures and bonds. They had unique speech patterns. For instance, in the game, players could walk through each other. It is customary in this case to say, "I felt that." Members served roles like a makeshift government featuring a mayor. Weddings took place in Uru. You might be asking, what do you do in Myst Online, or Uru again, or whatever you want to call it? You solve puzzles, of course. You traverse different levels through magic books, and tinker with doohickeys in the environment to unlock doors and trigger written material or cutscenes. But there's a problem with this. Remember how Uru was released as a single-player game? And remember how the online material was released as expansion packs? Right, so when you're playing the online game, yeah, it's just the single-player mode, but with other people there. Literally, it's the exact same puzzles from the offline version. They just stopped adding content. It's the same thing. If you played Uru Complete Chronicles, congratulations, you played Myst Online. So with nothing to actually do in the game and no new content, players had to make their own fun, which led to the development of the game world's unique culture. If there were monsters to kill or dungeons to raid, people probably would have just done that. But there wasn't. So they staged unofficial events like the Uru Olympics, played hide-and-seek, and made up elaborate fanfiction around the campfire. So how did these members get so close-knit? Pierce describes the TGU as a community of loners. Remember, up to this point, Myst games were strictly introspective, quiet, single-player experiences. And the only people who signed up for Myst Online and actually paid the subscription fee and logged in day after day, even though there was effectively nothing to do, were those superfans. The average age of Myst Online players was around 30 to 50, older than is typical for online games, and again, the audience was mostly women. It's reported that of everyone who bought Uru, less than a quarter ever tried the online component. So I mean, I get it. If you plopped me and 100 other middle-aged women into the middle of a desert with no objectives, you bet your ass we'd develop a unique microculture. Give us a month. Hell, give us a weekend. The Uru diaspora refers to what became of these people when Uru was cancelled on February 2nd, 2004, a date that became known as Black Tuesday. What was this incredibly tight-knit coalition to do? They had effectively become refugees, expunged from their homeland. Where would they go? In Pierce's words, the expulsion and mass exodus of the Uruvians from their game of origin at the precise moment when the third wave of virtual worlds was coming online created a powerful confluence of culture, technology, timing, and opportunity. Because Uru and Myst players are particularly tenacious and industrious, perhaps in part because of their decade-long encounter with the quote-unquote Mensa-level puzzles of the Myst games, they were poised to display a unique form of emergent behavior. As we will learn, Uru players migrated into other virtual worlds, created their own Uru-based cultural artifacts, and in some cases, created entire facsimiles of areas from Uru. Yes, Uru players, and particularly the TGU group that Pierce was studying, actually carried on the culture of their homeland onto other virtual worlds, many of which now, too, are forgotten, like Second Life and There.com. But it was never quite the same. As one player recalls, on Black Tuesday, a screen appeared at the moment of the game's shutdown, reading, "There seems to be a problem with the online connection. Please reconnect and try again," with only an OK prompt. However, according to the player, she struggled to hit that button, because she was not, in fact, OK. Part 3. What have we learned? Pierce's book is, well, to put it bluntly, kind of insane. We learn about the Sims Online Mafia, a group of about 800 with stereotypically Italian names who ran countless in-game pizzerias. We learn about the Egg Room and the infamous Egg Room Egg. That is a direct quote. There is so much weird stuff in here, and I highly recommend tracking down a copy at your local library and looking through it yourself. It's fascinating stuff. The book is also incredibly academic and hard to parse at times. It gets messy, too. From chapter 14.
As soon as I appear in a group, people start acting strange, or in some cases leaving. Social nuances can be very hard to read in an online world, but there is definitely what in California we would call a vibe. Then I receive an IM from
Like,
Wingman.
dude, this
He
reads
tells
like
me that he is avoiding
polycule
a
drama.
meeting,
I
implying
can't
that's where
do this.
Then
So, what was the secret behind Myst Online's unique microculture? Why was this game the one that set the standard for weird online proto-metaverses? For the answer, let's turn it over to Sherry.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I know my conduct was unacceptable. I'm not arguing that. My question is, am I valuable to this company? And the answer is no, I don't think I am. But if you hear me out, I'm sorry, can you hold on for just 1 second? CD-ROM is here.
What are you wearing?
Normal clothes, okay? I'm wearing regular clothes, okay? This is what I always wear.
I mean, I'm not gonna judge you either way, but like,
Why
what?
don't you go back to talking about Myst or something, whatever it is you do with your time, okay? And I'll do with what I want with my time.
But I just don't understand.
And stop cutting to me, by the way. Don't put me in these videos. I don't want to be in the videos. If I'm in the videos, it like breaks the illusion or something. You are supposed to be in the videos, not me.
We have to stop somewhere. There are a lot of stories to tell about Myst Online, and a lot of lessons to be learned from the unique culture it spawned. Who would have thought a game with no content and no objectives could turn out to be so beautiful? No fighting, no monsters, no negative feelings of any kind, just a bunch of lonely people hanging out together. Just peace. Just Uru. The love that these players had for this world shines nowhere brighter than in their art. Yes, in the artifacts that they painstakingly created across the digital world, but also in their writing. Each of the poems I've read you in this video are by Uru users, reflecting on the pain of losing access to this special place. It reads like a childhood home being bulldozed. It tears me apart a little bit. Finally, these lonely people had an outlet where they could be themselves, and then, like it was nothing, it was stripped away by business decisions. If you're watching this, and you run an online game world, please don't take it down. Leave it up for as long as you can.
Oh my god, stop cutting to me.